I am Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to another episode of 360 and Me, Mimosas and Conversations,
Yes.
where we have conversations on some of our favorite or not so favorite topics.
Yes.
Hey, Miss Wandra
Hi,
Cain, how are you?
I'm doing great, Miss Kimberly. Got a mimosa.
Hey, yeah, that's what it looks like in there. And I'm gonna take a drink right now because we just spent 20 minutes trying to figure out how to get this together. And I know people are gonna laugh when they see this because it's like, why are you two fools sitting in the wilderness and drinking mimosas? Okay. So,
Like, really tested half of mine on our test run. Okay.
all right. So the topic of conversation we're gonna have today, and that we've been talking about off and on for the last couple of weeks, is video fear.
Yes.
And a big part of video fear is because when you don't know something and don't know how to maneuver your video, figure out how to get started, it's a fearful thing. And so we're just going to talk. I mean, we've been talking for the last 15 minutes and not even being recorded, and we've been laughing at ourselves trying
Yeah.
to figure out how to get this video started because we couldn't figure out how to use FaceTime. So I'm sure people are sitting there laughing at us now. And then we jumped into Skype, and it's taken us 15 minutes to figure out Skype. And now that we're in Skype, now we're stuck in this grid mode that we can't get out of.
Well, we're talking about this because we have. Well, Kimberly, I don't do it because I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
Well, and that's the lovely part about having conversations. This is the not so fun topic, of understanding videos. And I think a big part of it for me is how I look. Every time I think about doing a video, I'm like, oh, is my face too fat? Is my hair done right? What do my clothes look like? It's all these crazy things that go through my head. And then, of course, when you're doing the videos, it's like, can I get the content right too?
Uh,
It's-
it's like, oh, this is like a job, It's like, oh wow. Now you see why people whose stuff is just perfect. I bet you they got 100 people around. Do my hair, do my makeup, dust me off. Here's a poster, say everything on the page. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, I think excuse me, the more you get into it, obviously, the easier it does get. But I think a big part of it too is knowing what type of equipment that you may have so that it's easier on you. And there's obviously a lot of new equipment these days where you can record much quicker and you can do everything on your phone just like we're doing right now.
mhm.
But it's, if you don't know what to buy, if you don't know how to use the equipment properly, it also can become a hazard. And one thing I've even learned with just having an iPhone, I'm not a big iPhone person. I jumped into iPhones probably within the last year or so, and I'm an Android person. And but I have definitely found that the iPhone has been phenomenal to learn how to do videos, and it's pretty quick and easy, and then you can do all this other editing pieces and so forth. So that's been a learning curve for me. And then now I'm trying to do all these other things that come with being in video. And it's been fun, but it's been aggravating. I think the thing that I found the hardest for me is the editing. So that's something I've been learning as I've been going through doing all these new videos and for this great new series that I have called 360 and Me. So it's fun to meet and hang out with other people. We've known each other for a while, but to know that we're struggling with some of the same things, I think that's the fun part about it. So I feel like, okay, thank God I'm not the only one who's crazy, doesn't know what she's doing, right? So
My age will tell me, "Oh, Wonder, your thing is." I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've just learned. I've made up in my mind, Kimberly. If I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna be authentic and just me. Because if I don't, if I try to start editing and changing up my words so fancy, it's not gonna look like who. It's not gonna be. They're gonna be like, Wonder, that's somebody else talking. So what you get with me is this southern drawn girl voice, and I'm just like, oops, that didn't supposed to be in the video, people. This is just real life. This is the real behind the scenes stuff. So even when I'm on the job, doing my interior design jobs, or I do the behind the stories or what, I just roll with the punches. If I'm talking to a contractor something crazy, I'll be like, Yeah, this is the real life. This is what's happening in the world of design. A wall came down and the studs fell apart, and yep, this is the real stuff. This is not HTTP. We didn't edit anything. This is Wanda having a breakdown. She need another cup of coffee. She need to go out in the car and pray for a minute and come back in. This is real life. So
Yeah, exactly. And you're right. And that's the thing about videos is that I think the more authentic ones are the ones that I enjoy. I mean, it's great to have the videos that you see people in that are, like you said, polished and, they have a
yeah,
team of people around them that can help them be polished and all they have to do is do their part.
yeah,
But it's like I said, things are so much simpler where you can actually just do your own and you can be as polished as you want to be. But when you are who you are, I find that I'm much more comfortable with that versus me trying to be perfect or figure out, like I said, when I'm wearing like today, I'm like, you know what? It's Sunday. We're having our Sunday afternoon. I'm not dressing up for anything. This is not what this is about
yeah,
for me. So it's just trying to maintain being in my comfort zone, but at the same time, making sure too that, if I'm having a conversation, I want to make sure that I am giving you some valuable
yeah.
information because nothing worse than seeing somebody on video and they're just rambling.
Oh,
We don't. I don't want to just ramble. I want to make sure that if I'm taking the time to do this, and the people who have a few minutes and the willingness to want to watch, that I'm actually showing them something that's worth watching. So I think that's important for me. But the video fear of, like I said, not being perfect. Not being able to say our words right and whatever, like, I have a tendency where I want to practice a few things here and there so I don't look crazy. Know what I'm doing, and I was just like, oh my gosh. The more perfect I try to make it, the harder it is.
and that's the part I get when people ask me. I'm like, oh my god, I want to do it, but then it's the fear of I'm gonna say the wrong things, and I know if I'm just doing it, it's my everyday work. I know it, but sometimes on the spot, and if somebody asks me a question, I'm like, wait, I want to say the right words because I'm an interior designer. I don't need to be telling people, oh, so I try to think. Wait a minute, give me a minute to say the right stuff, and I want to make sure I'm coming out. I know what I'm talking about, but if you do something every day, you think about it. You just do it. But when you're
Right.
trying to tell somebody else, you want to make sure you're using the right terms and tell them how to do it. Even if typing out a blog, I'm like, okay, I got to think about it. Do this, do this, do this. But if I'm just doing it myself, I don't think I just do what I do. That's how
Yeah,
I am about it.
exactly. And you're right. And you are absolutely right. I mean, that's the point is like when you do something we do every single day, we should be able to just flow. But it's when
Flow.
you're in those situations where people are kind of testing you or testing the
Yeah.
waters to try to see are you capable, of what it is that you're trying to accomplish and what they're trying to ask. And it's not about being the most well spoken or the most so-called most educated. It's knowing your craft. And I
Right.
think that's a big part of what we're doing. And then even like when we're doing a video, it's yeah, you want people to realize that you have the expertise in what you're doing. But at the
Mhm.
same time, if I can't be who I am, then I'm not going to do it. And that's been part of the reason I think that I don't do a lot of videos because I always had like so that fear of, but what are people thinking? And I've tried
Yeah.
them early on, and sometimes I'm like, well, I don't think anybody's paying attention to anything that I'm saying. So
But
I'm like,
Kimberly,
why am I doing this?
but that's the fear I've had over the last year or 2 years. I've been telling you I want to do blog and I want to do podcast. And I was always afraid of I didn't if I didn't do it right and wouldn't nobody. But I promise you, in the last, it's like God just showed me from people conversating with me. People call me, oh Wandra, I would like for you to mentor me, and I'm like, huh? People are watching you, Kimberly. When you never even know it. And I've been just doing my thing, and it's just like people call me now and they want to talk and they want to list. They like, how do you do this? And I'm like, wow. And one lady, like I told you, she called me and she said, Wandra, I redid my whole house by watching stuff you was doing. But they
Mm-hmm.
never commented, so I don't know if my content I'm putting out there is good, bad, or if people like, oh, she don't know what she's doing. But I'm learning that people may watch you and they may never say a word.
Right, right.
Uh,
And I think a big part of it too is that, you know, being in the business, in any business, you want to be able to get feedback from people. And if
yes,
they're not giving you feedback, we essentially don't think that things are running appropriately, right? So the
yeah,
one thing I've learned that even when we're doing videos is that you want to be able to mention at the end that say, like, share, and subscribe, or subscribe,
Yeah.
like, and share.
Yeah.
Because even though people may view it, if sometimes you don't remind them to, share this or subscribe and like it, we're not going to get the feedback that we need to have. And then, of course, you're always going to get feedback that you never want to see. You'll have somebody who will provide some negative comments or say something weird overall that has nothing to do with what you're saying or what you're, trying to do in the video itself. But I do think it's important that we remind ourselves that, hey, what we're doing is the best. We are the best at what we do as a whole in our crafts, in our, in our projects, whatever it is that we're doing at that point. As you being interior design decorator, that's what you're best at. My
Mm-hmm.
thing is being an author, being a book coach,
Mm-hmm.
doing my podcast shows, and now I have the videos. So it's just really staying in our lane and really making people understand that this is what we're good at. This is why we're here. And all we want is some feedback and, give us some love. Show us what it is that you like or don't like. And if there's something that you would like to see differently, tell us that. That's the only way we're going to understand what is needed and how we can grow.
I want to say to you, and I thank you. I know you heard me say it before, but I'm not trying to get brownie points. But I remember that was my first one really I had done that everybody was gonna be out of work, and I was so nervous. And I remember my husband sitting across the room from me. He was like, "Just calm down, just be you." And I was like, but you kept going. So I don't know if you could tell, but I was talking fast. But then I just calmed down. It's like something told me to just calm down. And you made me feel. You gave me the encouragement about your taking over and being a leader and doing what you do. It helped
Mm-hmm.
me to just calm down. I felt
Mm-hmm.
comfortable. I didn't feel like you was coming at me so hard that I was like, oh, I can't answer the question. But you had
Right.
podcasting or as an interviewer that you made me feel good, and it made me like, wow, okay, do it again, because I had did a radio show but I was just having so I had to do my thing. So that's why if you ask me, I like the fact of sitting up like a person across from me and we just having a conversation. So
Mm-hmm.
what I try to do when I'm doing my thing is act like, even if there's nobody there, I act like somebody I'm talking, because I feel more comfortable with that. Then thinking it's a million people watching, it's a million people, and what are they gonna think? My thing is, what is that person I'm talking to thinking? And if that one person, if we're having a conversation and we're relating, then maybe I'll just be thankful for that one person, and then it'll go forth, because that's how I had to roll my mind. So that's
Right.
how I.
Yeah, and you're right though. I mean, and that's the key. And and thanks for the compliment on the podcasting. And that's the thing I love about podcasting is that people can't visually see you, but they can definitely hear you.
Yes.
And the big thing about podcasting is that you have to just be you.
Yes.
If you're not comfortable relating back to me what it
Mhm.
is that we're talking about, then it's definitely going to make it harder for you
Yes.
to
Yes.
excel in the conversation. But for
Mhm.
me, when I'm talking to my guests, it's always important to me to make them understand is that, hey, we're just having a conversation.
Yes.
We're
And that's.
talking and sharing information about what it is you do, why you do what you do, how you got started. That to me should be the easiest way to interview people, because when you start to go down a list of a bunch of questions, those just become questions, and then it just becomes a ABCDEFG show
Mhm.
where you're answering the questions and that's it. Well, that's great that you can answer them, but what is the listeners getting out of that? What
Yes.
are your viewers understanding out of that conversation when you're doing it in that process? Yes, it does work for other people, but for me, I have found that all my guests, I have interviewed over 200 and some people, and that's the one thing that I always hear is that you make it very easy. Your conversation is great, so it's just about being in our comfort zone, and that is one of my true comfort zones is learning how to podcast. And when I did that 5 years ago, you could not have told me that that's what I was going to be doing. The first interview I did, I was like, girl, why would anybody listen to this craziness? Because you don't realize what you're getting into until you actually get into it, right? So,
And
but
I'll one thing you did. I remember when you came the first time I met you in person, when you came to Easton, and you did the book. You teaching us how to write our book. That's something in the background of my head I always want to do. I hadn't got there yet. I journaled. But I just still remember your presentation. You share so much insightful information, like just telling us how to use different things like Fiverr. Go do this, go do this. It wasn't like you came and said, "Hey, I have this big publisher." You just shared your truth of what you learned, and I was like, that made me want to get to know you. I was like, wow, she's down to earth. She's just trying to help people. She has a heart to share. I I guess because my husband say with me, I search out there because that's how I feel it, and like-minded people want to kind of gravitate to people like that. So that's something you have in you. You want to help. Sure. Like even with this, you're like Wandra, and I've been wanting. You've been like, okay, when you gonna do the podcast? I'm like, Kimberly, I need help. I'm scared. Now, and I admit it. I'm scared. I'm scared of doing this by myself. I need a partner because that's what I just feed off that connection. Some people
Right.
can sit there and roll by themselves. In my job, I do it, but even with my interior design business, I still pray for God to send me a partner, not just physically to help me, but just having that. I think everybody see things as two. I can see red, and you may see blue. We should see a
Right.
picture, and it's sometimes good to be open to see that. The chair don't have to be just always straight in that corner. Just turn it a little bit, and I may not can see that, so I'm caught up so in the project. But if I had a person that's, hey, Wanda, what if we just turn this way? And I go, wow, it looked great. But sometimes you need that help. And I think that's a great gift to have. They say, hey, I just need another eye to help me see things a little clearer, or another
Right.
voice to say, you know what? Everything seems like it's falling apart. But girl, I got you. Let's do this. you know.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing. It's like, the one thing too, I find that when you are willing to help, everything comes back twofold for you. And but the same token, it's just in my blood to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and watch you fail because you don't know something. Because for me, it was the same process. We all start somewhere. You just don't walk up out here and then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, you're the best at everything you're doing. No,
Yeah.
you have to start from where you start, and you just try to keep moving forward. And the other thing that I find that for me that's important to share with people is that it doesn't have to cost you your arm and your leg and your back. Okay, when you're having to do these videos, or when you're doing the podcasting, or if you're writing a book, it takes time and effort, and I believe timing is important, and
Mhm.
the effort is even more important. But it doesn't have to cost you your life. And if it costs you everything you're doing, and that means that you're in the wrong field, there's something that's not right there for you, and you should not be doing that. So, being in your comfort zone is exactly where you're at and what you're doing. And to
Mhm.
increase that, what you're doing is, having these conversations like we're doing now. Keep doing the photos that you're sending out on your Instagram account. Every now and then pop in though and just have that conversation with people about why you chose that piece. What is it
Mhm.
that stands out? What's the purpose of that piece? And that's what I've learned. It's taken me 5 years to get off my hump and say, you know what, Kim, stop limiting yourself. And the person that really beats me up around my household and actually pushes me really hard because he knows I can do it is my son. He's like, Mom, you can do this, but
Mhm.
you have to be willing to want to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, you have all the tools, you have all the resources, and he's even went so far to buying me all the equipment that I need to have, all the lighting I need to have. He's like, you have everything. All you got to do is just start videoing. When are you going to start videotaping? When are you going to start doing things that you enjoy? And I finally, it's just kind of hit me across my head these last couple of years that how tired and frustrated I have been, just constantly giving and giving and giving, and not focusing on what I need to focus on in order for myself to stand out as well. And
Mhm.
so, taking this leap of faith to jump into videoing, which for some people it's easy, and they think, oh, they're probably sitting thinking, oh, this just is not that big of a deal. It is a big deal when that's not your comfort zone. So this has become a new thing. It's a great way to share your knowledge, to enhance your brand. It
Mhm.
gives you everything that you need to have in order to be successful. But it's just about taking that leap. And today we're taking that leap, even though we may be doing it together. It's giving you what you need to be comfortable, so that you can continue to move forward. Because hey, you got the talent, girls. It's about making the moves.
Yes. And I believe that it's just good, like before, the learning the right tools to use, the right lighting, what all you need, and like some things like you was like microphone, the little tips like you was like I got this little microphone, even though I didn't have time to order it this week. I will get
And
them.
yeah, and guess what? We're gonna. I got everything sitting next to me, so
Okay,
I can show you. I was like, hey, I didn't forget. I didn't forget. I know I probably got the email. I was like, I think I still need to email her this information, but I did bring it so that
yeah,
I could kind of show and talk about some of the things that I use. And even like now, we both talked about before we came on, we were struggling to figure out which platform to use to
yeah.
record. We were talking about just something as simple as a stand.
Mhm.
How important it is to have a good stand when you're getting ready to do your recording. The other big thing, of course, is lighting.
Nice.
So the big thing that I like, and I'm going to pull the one I'm using now is the US Key Vision. So
Mhm.
I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but in the back, while I'm recording, there's a light that's attached to my phone and everything. And I love this. I'm going to pull it up a little more so you can actually see it.
Mhm.
And so US Key Vision is a really small kit, and it has a stand, it has the lighting, it has the microphone, everything you need to have when you want to do something simple. And the cool thing about the stand is that you can use the stand on a countertop or on a desk, but you
Mhm.
also can carry the stand. And that's the thing I like. So when you're
So,
trying to record yourself or you're looking at other things to record, sometimes using your phone and holding it is a
mhm.
pain in the butt, right? So
So
this stand,
let
go
me ask you a
ahead.
question. So is
Hmm.
it say I was doing a setting up a room, okay, we're staging the room or whatever. I could put the stand on and I could just be moving around the room and recording. Is the stand rotatable?
You have to hold it in your hand. So it's like a
Okay.
squeeze thing, and you
Okay.
can rotate yourself. You can
Okay.
walk around with the stand. So it's a little more flexible. So, and I think that's the thing I like about it is that you can literally just push it, put everything together you want to put on it and just walk around and do what you need to do without feeling you have to sit sit still remotely. So that's just one piece. And then of course the other thing that I like that you can use is the LED ring light. So
Mhm.
this big old box. Hopefully you can see
Mhm.
it in the probably
Okay.
can't see it, but the ring light is my favorite. And the reason why I like the ring light is that you can put your phone obviously in the middle, and then the light just surrounds the whole phone, so it doesn't just focus on one area, which is the camera area itself in the back. But the ring light also has this nice stand, and that's actually the stand I'm using now because it has different levels. So I can
Oh.
use it from all the way from the ground.
Mhm.
I can sit it on top of my countertop, desk, wherever.
Mhm.
But I love how how flexible it is. And then the cool part that I've learned here recently utilizing both of these two products is that I can mix and match to
Nice.
use in order to use the things that I want to use to record. So like right now I'm using the smaller light um, for this recording that we're doing versus using the big ring light.
Mhm.
And so I'm using the different tools, but I'm definitely using the stand. Also, my big thing is make sure you have good microphones. That
Mhm.
is important. So I bought a microphone called Power Dewise. And the thing that I love about this microphone pack is that it gives you two full microphones, but it also gives you the extensions. So you don't have, so it's like 6 foot extensions. So you don't have to feel like you can't move. So if you need to be
Okay.
at a distance, you don't want to be sitting right up on the camera and looking crazy, right? But you want to
Mhm.
be at a distance, and you can also still be able to hear yourself very clearly, fresh and crisp without having any background noise. Using microphones are very, very important when you're doing your recordings. And most of the time when you're recording, you're usually going to be by yourself. But if you're recording with somebody else in the same environment, this package here gives you more than one. So you can connect both of you together without having to feel like you're separating. You can stand next to each other and still be able to have a really good interview or whatever it is that you're doing when you're doing the recording.
Nice.
So equipment is very important. I think when you want to have a good video recording that you're trying to do, Lighting is an absolute must. If your lighting isn't right, people aren't going to look at it. I've learned that, making sure that, if you're editing, try to edit as much as you can. On the iPhone, you have the iPhone movie editor. I
Mm-hmm.
have been learning to use it, and I love, love, love this editor. It's pretty easy once you can get comfortable and realize, oh, I can add music, I can add
Yes.
photos, I can do all these great things, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't cost you anything extra.
Yes. Yes. That's why I love the iPhone.
That's the beauty of having these tools, where it's so easy to get suckered into sending your videos or whatever to get edited to other people, and they could do it. Yeah, there's some things that I still can't do at perfection. So if you want a perfect video, you may want to send it off to get somebody to edit it. And Fiverr would be a great place to do it, because it's still going to be a lot less expensive than utilizing somebody else that's all that they do is editing, and they're gonna charge you a lot more for it, because that's what they do for a living. So but when you're new in this game and you don't have a full team to do all the editing and do all the lighting and hold the camera and all that, these are the tools that you need to have in order to be successful at making your video.
Yes. Yes. I got it. So I'm watching it as we recording this, or we're doing our process. I can see from my side. I can see when you're talking, I can see all the wordage. But from my side, is it because you're recording from the mic? Because it's like I can see all the message but I can't see anything I'm saying. It's not recorded in. So what is that about?
So I'm recording on this, and so you're telling me you can't see or anything?
I can hear see it, like when it all shows up everything you're saying. But when I speak, can you see? Does any content of word come up on your side?
No. So you're talking about closed caption?
Yes.
No. If you don't have your closed caption on, then I'm not going to be able to see it. And I don't see closed caption on my end at all.
Oh, okay. So I have it on my end because it keeps
Okay.
going up. And that's why you keep seeing me doing this. I'm trying to like I
Yeah,
can't see.
I don't have the closed caption on, so that's why I don't see
Oh, so see
anything.
that's the thing we have to do.
Right, right.
So see, I'm saying these questions because people won't know. Look, people, this is why we're showing you everything we're learning as we go. Because somebody else may be like, wait, what? So that's why I wanted to ask. So you have to turn off the closed caption. But this won't be on the video, will it? How would it?
To be honest with you, I don't know. Once I
Okay.
finish,
So
once
if
we finish this
you're
recording.
over the video, you'll know. Wind your head on the closed. Oh, you
I
keep
don't
saying.
know. Look, I don't normally, and that's the thing, using Skype. I don't normally use Skype for recording. I use it all from as a part of my podcasting, because it's connected to the software that I use to do my shows. But for recording, this is all new for me on Skype. When I do a lot of my recording, obviously I just go record directly from my phone. So it makes it a little easier for me to do that and kind of get away from being behind my desk when I'm trying to record. And that was one thing I was thinking about today is like, you know what? I don't want to sit in my office and do this recording. Let's just try using the phones. Now, if I was sitting in my office, we could have been recording probably 20 minutes ago and been
Yeah.
done. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
If anyone's listening to us, this is why we said we're very authentic. We're learning. We're learning this as Kimberly's an expert more at this than Wandra. Wandra is trying to face her fears. So Wandra asks questions because she don't know what the heck is happening. So it's like, why is this word? All these words, you know. I would hate for myself to go away next week and I'm out on a job and I'm, decide to do this whole setup and I'm like, Kimberly, well, I got words all over my video. I didn't show you that. I'd be like, well, yeah, remember we were talking? There was words everywhere. You'd be like,
Right.
so that's why I'm the questions to help somebody else who's like Wandra. She don't know. She's facing her fears and she's learning how to do this properly.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and it's okay. Like I said, it's not about perfection. It's about just continually to work at it. And as time goes on, you're going to be perfect at it, But the one thing I'm learning doing the videos is just like doing the podcast, and you have to just constantly work on it. You constantly have to record, and you learn to record with yourself, learn to talk about the things that you want to talk about in yourself. And I'm so excited because these new series that I have starting, that we've started here, it's going to be fun. People are going to see a lot of whole different things about me as a whole and what I do between business and lifestyle and wellness. And, it's just going to be fun just to see that whole different side of, what it means to be me. So,
Yeah.
and then sharing these moments with my girlfriends, the people that I'm very close to and that I enjoy sharing my moments with, versus just constantly having to talk just strictly business, but being able to just realize that, I'm a human being just like everybody else is. And there's other things that I enjoy doing. And I don't normally share this personal side of myself, but I have found that when you start to learn about, even in business, it can't just be strictly business. Sometimes you have to have that other side of you come out, so that people can see and understand that we're all just as human. I've said it 100 times, but sometimes talking about it is not as visible. It's not visible, so people can't always understand that side. So, this type of having our conversation with our mimosas is the best way to start. And even though I said we're looking crazy because we got these mimosas up here in the woods, in the greenery on the rock.
Everywhere just be in a nice area. You could just have a mimosa, take it with you in a canister, and just have a mimosa in the woods.
So I'm like, okay, well, hey, it works. It's working fine, and it's something that I think that people they'll giggle about it, but at the same time they're like, and you know what? These two right here, it was worth sitting back and listening to it.
Yeah, and that's what we want. I doing videos is I'm better at a behind the scenes thing. Maybe that's why I have friends mention, oh, Wandra, when they have the HGTV shows and they looking for people to go be in front. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. But that's a fear I have. I'm admit it. I can make your house as beautiful as you want it to be, but I'm just not one. I always want to be in front of the camera. But
Right.
it's your fears because sometimes I believe that God opens doors, and if we have faith, we got to go through the door, and that's part of it. Is you got to be able to go through, do things that you don't normally feel comfortable doing, and knowing that it's going to be okay. So I am so thankful, Miss Kimberly, that you and I are having this moment of learning how to do videos. Not knowing how many I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do more.
Well, like I said, you can enjoy it and, always have this conversation with somebody else. So I'm sure you are not the only one
Um,
who has that same fear. And, that's the thing I love about doing series, because we don't just have to, it just doesn't have to be about our fears, but definitely I'm sure there are going to be some of our other girlfriends that we could ask the same question and it'd be like, wow, you know what? I just had this conversation with somebody else the other day and we all have that same scenario. And I think too a big part of it too is that when I think about growing up and what I've encountered, being in my mid 50s now too, that we didn't have all this computer, we didn't have the instant gratification of being able to show what we were doing right on the spot. So this has all been a learn. I can remember when computers actually came out in like 1984. I think was the first time I remember sitting down and actually utilizing a computer. So to be able to see from where we are now and to where I'm at today, from where we came from to now, I mean,
oh,
it's crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy to think that I would have never thought, 30 years ago that I would be sitting around and talking on a podcast or doing a video or anything like that because it wasn't some acceptable. It's acceptable for us coming up because all we knew at that time is that, hey, I went from typing out of a typewriter into an electronic typewriter into a computer. And now, fast forward 30, 40, 50 years, here we are
Yeah. Now you're
doing
doing.
everything. So it's okay to feel like, that it is a fear and realizing that this just isn't the era that we came up in, but now we're a part of that era and then, we're jumping into the water full, with all four, so to speak. It's not something that you can kind of just take lightly. It's just like, you just got to do it. It's like Nike said, just do it. And so here we are, we're having this conversation and hopefully other people have learned what we, from this conversation that we are having, and that they realize that it's all a part of fun, but also it's just something that, we wanted to share with everybody.
Hmm. So, guys, Kimberly and I are so excited. I'm excited that we get to do a couple of these, or a series of. We're gonna do some behind the scenes of. Can I tell them? Can I? What we're gonna do together? No? Yes? Maybe?
Let's just hold it just for a little while longer.
Stick around. We're working. Once we get better, she's saying. When one to learn how to do the videos better. I get
No,
it.
I mean, we're definitely going to be doing some things here in the near future, so um,
Yeah.
it's just cool that, when it all comes out and everything that we're going to be showing, people will get a better understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. And, like I said, this is all a very new series, so there's going to be a lot of different things that people are going to get to see, personally, professionally, and, and for our health, so it's just going to be fun. And I just hope that, that people are enjoying this particular topic of conversation. Like I said, the whole cool thing about the Mimosas and Conversations is that we have conversations about some of our favorite topics and some of our not so favorite topics. And we decided to jump out here and do the not so favorite topic today.
So videos is not one of our favorite things, but we're doing it because we're facing our fears and
Mm-hmm.
be able to do some of our favorite things, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You will see us in many more of our favorite things, either
Yes.
together or apart. But you'll
Or
definitely be
part.
seeing
Yeah.
many of those, and I expect to see many, 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 many favorite things from Miss Wandra Cain, right, Miss Wandra?
I'm excited. Very excited. Just facing. I'm just gonna pop the. And sometimes you may just see me in my vehicle, and I just may pop on a video. I watched a young lady. She's a real estate. This is a whole different subject, but it talks about video. She was doing real estate, and she talked. She hopped in her car, and she said, "Hey guys, we don't do this, but I'm just gonna do this video." And to me, I would have thought she did it, been doing it forever. But it was, to me, it was like she didn't rehearse it. She didn't have a whole camera crew around. No, all the things. She just got in her car. And she did it, and I was like, wow. And the content she was delivering, she was just telling the situation that happened, and it was so, for me at that moment, it was like, wow, I learned a lot, but I realized she what she had, and I'm always,
Mm-hmm.
where is the lighting correct, is the mic correct, but she at that moment what she was offering, just putting herself in front of her camera, going live, was great. So
Yep.
that just told me sometimes don't think about it so hard. I'm so busy thinking about, do I got everything to do it? And am I going to say the right things? But sometimes there's a person like myself who needed to hear what she was saying.
Right.
And I
Absolutely.
get confidence. And when it comes, just do it.
Yep.
And like, you
Yep.
just do it. Just do it.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing too. What I found with recording is that even if you don't want to pop up right away and do a live, you can still record what your thoughts are and what
And
you're
go.
doing and push them out. It's not like you have to stop everything you're doing right then and there and say, "Oh my God, I have a thought. I need to share it with somebody." Share it, but share it when you're prepared to share it and when you want to push it out. But like I said, the good thing about doing recording is that you can literally record as often as you want to do with the
Mhm.
video. With the video recording, you don't have to feel like you have to be always just in the moment. You can
Yeah.
take that moment and push it out when you feel like you're ready to share that content, that information, whatever it is that you're sharing. And that's one thing that I'm learning, because I don't, I'm busy throughout the day. I don't have time always to sit down like, oh, I got something on my mind, I'm just going to hurry up and pop this out. I don't have that time sometimes. So I want to be able to sometimes just get my thoughts together and say, you know what, I do want to record this, but I really want to make sure that the message is getting clear and
Yeah.
how I want that message to come out. And then I'll send the video out. And I think that's the important thing, is that you are clear in what you're trying to deliver. It's
Mhm.
not always about dealing with the moment. And for me personally, I don't do videos in my car, because the last thing I need to worry about is videoing myself, and I need to be driving because I need to be focused. I'm trying to be focused on the road. I've never done a
But
video
she
in
was
my
parked.
car.
I give her credit. She was parked at Starbucks. Really, that was what made me stop. No, she had pulled over. She was getting coffee, so it was like
Okay.
a coffee thing, and she just had a conversation. But it was like
Okay.
know that she took time to share that. But I'm thinking about the recording. We go back to the recording, learning how to record. So it will help me if I'm on a project, say in the beginning, and we're just doing the demos, and I could just have a recording of that day doing demos, and then I could save that, and then as the project is going on, I could talk about the next phase. We're at the walls up, and that's a record, and then all in the end, I could put it together, because what I'm learning, me and my husband was having this conversation, and I know this might got something to do with my, but part of design is when people call me and they'll say they need help with a project, and I'll say, okay, what do you need? Do you need design or do you need decorating? And then I'll tell them there's a difference. Like a designer, we help you design the whole thing, renovation, layouts, and everything. A decorator comes in and say, here's the box. We're gonna decorate. The box is already done. Do that make sense? And then
Yeah.
decorator comes do the whole, make that box the most beautiful box. But the designer has already designed the box and did behind the wall stuff that people don't sometimes see. So that's why I have to ask those questions. So, and I was thinking about how could I take a video and describe that to people? Because I get that question a lot. Like, and I'll say, okay, what service do you need? Do you need me just for decorating, or do you need me for the design? Is a renovation? Do you need me to tell you if you can knock that wall out?
Mm-hmm.
Space. Sometimes as a decorator, we go out these sofas to put in this box, and the box may be a 10 by 10, and then you go out and buy a sofa that's a 10 by 10. Okay, that ain't gonna work. So you got to know space planning. So there's a different process. So I'm just thinking a video, if I could record the process of the different two and how they come together.
Well, you just told the whole world what it is. So
And you and I are having this conversation, but that's kind of a conversation. Oh, where somebody who don't know, you have to tell them the difference.
right.
You know, even like,
And that's easy. You just what you described. You
mm-hmm,
do a video and you describe A, you describe B, and you describe C. You can do it all in one video, and
mm-hmm,
that makes people have a quick understanding of what it means, the difference between designing and decorating.
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you described it perfectly. Now you got to just record yourself doing it.
See, you go. You just helped me, because I would have been in my head thinking, okay, but thank you, Miss Kimberly. That's how great
Well,
you
and it's
pulled
so funny.
out
It's so funny that it's funny we
you.
have this conversation because I love to decorate. I am not an interior designer, and I do my own videos on my decorating. But I'm doing the decoration conversation I'm having about what's going on in my home.
Mhm,
So and I make it very clear. I'm not an interior designer. I'm not here to teach you how to do any of that. I'm showing you what you can do in your own home, because this is what I've done. Now you can
yes.
either use those tips, you can either do whatever the case may be. But that's the beauty about doing videos. I'm
Mhm,
staying in my lane, right? I'm not. My
mhm,
profession is not an interior designer. My
mhm,
profession is my own personal thing of wanting to decorate, because I love to decorate. I don't
mhm.
think I realized how much I enjoyed decorating until I just started recording it, because I do it all the time. Because people ask me all the time, well, are you sure you didn't have anybody come in your house and do this for you? I'm like, no, I just enjoy decorating. So
I think that's
it's
a
a,
great people. I always tell people when I do go to work with them, is unique designs with you in mind. What do you like? Not what do Wandra like? Because if you like it, it's your home. Put in your home things you like. I'm just here to help you enhance, bring that out of you, to make you think out this box, put patterns together. People are like, oh, I can put stripes with this. I'm like, yeah, it's a way to put it to make it look nice, you know. So that's part of learning and going through it. But if you like it, hey, do it. It's your house.
yeah. You,
You
you
gotta
just you just
thank
did
you.
your first video recording in this conversation. So now you got to go do it by yourself.
But this is just good mimosa, just having a conversation and talking. So to see like this, I could do it's fun. But if you had told me, oh, one we're gonna be doing a video, I would have been like, am I saying the right words? But this is what I say about me, just authentic, telling my truth of how it is. I've been at,
Hmm.
I went to school, and I tell people, yes, I went to school and got the degree in interior design. But my most experience for renovation and interior design has been on job training, learning.
Hmm.
Oh, that okay, I drew this box out, I drew this plan out, and I knew that this back code was right. But then when we took those walls down, I didn't plan for that stud to be back there. I didn't see that in the and you got to
Right. Right.
oh, so that's the part. It's all a lot, and
Hmm.
That's why when I start in the beginning, you'll have days when I'll be drinking a lot of coffee and I go out and coffee spray and I'll be like, uh, well, what we gonna do? What am I gonna tell the customer? We can't do this. And,
Oh, wow.
and I think maybe I should be doing this. But then, hey, it happens. Once you should be doing this because it's real life. Stuff don't always look like the Architect magazine when they show you how beautiful the spread is.
That's because you didn't see the behind the scenes.
You didn't start them.
Nobody cares about what's going on behind the scenes when people are buying something, all you want to see is the good part. You don't care about what happened to get you there. And I think that's the beauty about doing your own videos and your own understanding. People do to some degree care. They're wondering like, well, how did it get from point A to point B? We know
Yeah,
it didn't come out this way. So
I have go to showrooms and they see the sofa on the floor and they salesperson, yes, this will look great in your room, but they don't think about that door that sofa got to go through. Now you about this sofa and you can't even get it through your door or your front house. Like, did you not make the door before you went out and bought this? How you going to get it in? You got to go through. So things like this, I always tell the client, we got to measure the door. We got to make sure it fits through there. And so those little tips, I just always talk my clients through, like, okay, we love this. You just sit on it. We did the 3 little bears thing, like this too soft. Okay, oh, great. But can that really fit inside your door?
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, so like I said, the videos you can do. It's just a matter of you taking the same information that you're doing right now and just putting it out there. Record yourself over and over and over until you feel comfortable. It's all about your comfortness. It's all about you having the timing to do it and do it the way you want to do it and not worry about what other people think, because your information is valuable. What you just talked about, you literally have given us 5 minutes of great information that anybody could use, but you have to do those videos.
It all comes from what helps me. I'm going to throw back the credit to someone like you to have a conversation with. And that pulls out people to do what they do, to have a conversation and tell stories like this. Because
exactly,
who was on me and corrected and said, what did you say, Wandra? What did that word mean? I will be just shut down. That's my fear of videos.
Well, but the thing about it, though, it's not about what everybody else thinks. This is your video. Always keep this in mind. It is your video. Nobody else is making that video but you. For those who don't, and I'm learning this quickly, if you don't like it, you ain't got to watch it. I don't care.
People there, go out there and check them out.
Right. It's like, you don't like what I'm saying, turn it off. Just that simple. It's sitting back and keep wondering and worrying about what somebody's going to say or think, it doesn't matter. First of all, they're not the expert, you are. So I'm putting this out because you're giving people expert advice and information, and if they're listening to it and they really do enjoy it and like it, they're gonna look you up. They're gonna say, hey, I need to reach out to you. Do you come to this area, or do you do this or do that? Because it's your video. For those who don't want interior designs or decorating, fine, keep it moving. Keep doing you.
Keep turning on HGTV.
Yeah, I mean, because even when I love HGTV TV, but even there, they even show you enough common sense to show people that things do happen. There's nothing that's consistently perfect, but we're only seeing an hour show. So in that hour, you're never going to see the whole 8 weeks that it takes for them to put these projects together. But in the 8 weeks, they have hundreds of people working with them as well. So, it's just, it is what it is. And so what we're trying to do is that we're just going to show who we are and what our capabilities are and what we can help other people with by just reviewing the videos that we have.
Yes. And our videos will show you how Kimberly's going to show how, editing. That's something that, sometimes we need to edit and put something in, and sometimes we need to take stuff out. So I am so excited, and I thank you again, Miss Kimberly, for
you're welcome.
Just want to share this. This is a new adventure, and I'm glad you're trying to do it because I needed you, and there's a million other people just like me who needed you to do this.
No, I needed it for my own self too. So like I said, this is all new for me. I'm doing it. I'm just excited about all the new things that are going to be coming out the rest of the year. So hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is just one of them. And like I said, the conversations they're good to have. Like I said, whether good or bad, they're good conversations to do.
Yay.
All
So I can't
right.
get to be in the same place and we get to have one background. Well,
Yeah.
who knows? Be in Hawaii doing mimosas.
I don't care. We can be anywhere, beach, wherever. Hey, we can
Ever
do it.
the camera,
So
you're gonna be like,
yeah.
cut one. Look, Kimberly, you're gonna be like, cut 199. Why do it this way? Okay.
Exactly, exactly. Oh my gosh. But yep. So all right. Well, I think we can wrap it up here. I think we've had a good conversation, and I hope
Yeah.
everybody. I hope the viewers enjoyed it. And like I said, I know we're crazy, and it's okay. Being a little crazy helps you get through the day,
Yeah.
and that's the way I look at it. So, Miss Wandra, I thank you, my darling. It was so much
Thank you.
fun.
It's fun.
So much
Cheers.
fun. Oh,
Mimosa.
mimosa time again. Mimosa. Let me make sure. Okay, I hope everybody can see that. I'm almost done. I need to finish it off. So we're gonna finish off this mimosa. And again, to everybody else, I hope you
Mhm.
enjoyed this episode of 360 and me. Look forward to seeing many more of these mimosas and conversations coming to you soon. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.